Pt1 is WPYX Albany, a Clear Channel station.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop,
Uncle Vito's house party on Pt1.
Pt1, good evening, and welcome to a special edition of the house party. Tonight is our annual Halloween ball at the compound, and I've decided to tell the haunting tale of John Jarback and the legend of Frog Hollow. During the next 5 hours, you'll hear mystery and suspense, be able to make requests and dedications, and pick up some trick-or-treats, and listen to some hauntingly great rock and roll. So turn out the lights, put out the can, light some candles, and get ready to shiver to the bone as I weave the tale of the legend of Frog Hollow in the still of the night at Uncle Vito's house party on Pt1. Pt1. I'm Uncle Vito, and this is the house party Halloween edition. Hope you're having a Halloween party tonight, because right now we're going to begin the tale, the legend of Frog Hollow. And let me tell you, it's a perfect backdrop for any Halloween party. Here we go. It all begins in the Mohawk Valley in a sequestered glen, which is one of the quietest places in the world. The Cayadetta Creek glides through it with just murmur enough to lull one to repose next to a small pond where the croak of a bullfrog or rustling of a squirrel is almost the only sound to break the tranquility. The area has long been known as Frog Hollow, and its rustic lads are called the Frog Hollow Boys throughout all the neighboring country. Some say the place was bewitched by an old Indian chief, the prophet of his tribe, who held powwows there during the time of Sir William Johnson. And it is certain the place continues to hold some witching power that holds a spell over the minds of the good people. They are given all kinds of marvelous beliefs and frequently see strange sights and hear music and voices in the air. One spirit, however, dominates, that of Kikla, who is said to have been a great Indian warrior who was killed when the bull he was trying to milk sat on his head. His haunts are not confined to the hollow, but extend to adjacent roads in St. John's Church at no great distance. Having been buried in the churchyard, the ghost travels forth to the spot in the hollow in nightly quest of his crushed head. There he does a ceremonial ritual that has become known as the Kikla dance, with his screams piercing the night air as he concludes and races to get back to the churchyard before daybreak. Kikla, the spirit. Pt1. Touch of Halloween here at the house party tonight. Let us continue our tale, the legend of Frog Hollow. In this place of nature known as Frog Hollow, abode a worthy wit known as John Jarback. He was the singing master of the neighborhood, who claimed to drive away evil spirits by singing songs. And the good people of Frog Hollow were often filled with awe at hearing his nasal melody floating from the distant hill or along the dusky road. John Jarback also had a soft and foolish heart toward the opposite sex. He was of the opinion there was nothing like good music, good wine, good meal, and a bad girl. Pt1. Uncle Vito Masonetti, and tonight I'm telling you the legend of Frog Hollow here on our Halloween edition of the house party. Already gave you a little background on the Hollow. Told you about the lead character, John Jarback. Now let's continue the tale. Also residing in the Hollow at the time were John Egan and his daughter Elizabeth, a blooming lass, plump as a partridge, ripe and melting, and rosy-cheeked as one of her father's apples, and famed throughout, not merely for her beauty, but also her promiscuity. Legend has it she spoke 5 languages, but couldn't say no in any one of them. It's 106. We've already introduced our main characters, a couple of them. John Jarback, Elizabeth Egan, just to bring you up to date a little bit. Let's continue on with our tale right now. It is not to be wondered that John Jarback found Elizabeth Egan so tempting a morsel, especially since her father, old John Egan, was a perfect picture of a thriving, contented, liberal-hearted farmer. And Jarback envisioned Elizabeth, his bride, and her father's wealth his own. But to win the heart of Elizabeth, he had to encounter a host of fearful adversaries, keeping a watchful and angry eye upon each other, but ready to go out in the common cause against any new competitor. Among these, the most formidable was a burly, roaring, broad-shouldered lad named Bradley Rowland. From his Herculean frame and great powers of limb, he had received the nickname of Bushi, by which he was universally known. It was said once that a rattlesnake bit him. It was a terrible sight watching it curl up and die. Picks 106. Uncle Vito Masonetti, we're telling you the tale of the legend of Frog Hollow. Now to continue our tale, Bushi had for some time singled out the blooming Elizabeth as the object of his uncouth gallantries. And though his amorous toyings were something like the gentle caress of a bear, it was whispered that she did not altogether discourage his hopes. Such was the formidable rival with whom John Jarback had to contend. And considering all things, a wiser man than he would have shrunk from the competition. But not John Jarback, for he thought himself quite a wit, and he was half right. Hey, it's supposed to be a scary story. Picks 106. Uncle Vito Masonetti here with you, celebrating Halloween this evening. A little bit early, but been telling you the tale of the legend of Frog Hollow. And just to bring you up to date a little bit about that, we've introduced some of our characters here. John Jarback and Elizabeth Egan and Bushi. Now, John Jarback and Bushi are both vying for the hand of Elizabeth Egan. Let's continue with our story right now. From the moment John Jarback made his advances toward Elizabeth Egan, a deadly feud arose between himself and Bushi. But Jarback was too conscious of the superior might of his adversary, who had boasted he would squash Jarback and lay him in the frog pond. Jarback became the object of whimsical persecution to Bushi and his gang of pedger riders. They were nasty, repulsive, repugnant, disagreeable, offensive, belligerent, pugnacious, and antagonistic. And those were their good traits.
I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
Picks 106. Uncle Vito, and it's a Saturday evening, and little Halloween festivities going on here, telling you the tale of the legend of Frog Hollow. Well, I'm glad you like it so much, my friend. Just to bring you up to date a little bit, we have John Jarback and Bushi vying for the affections of the lovely Elizabeth Egan. And now to continue our story, Bushi found no alternative but to play boorish practical jokes upon his rival John Jarback. He and his gang of pedger riders harried Jarback's hitherto peaceful domain, smoking out his abode by stopping up his chimney and breaking in to turn everything topsy-turvy, so that poor Jarback began to think all the spirits in Frog Hollow held their meetings there. Bushi took all opportunities of turning Jarback into ridicule in the presence of the lovely Elizabeth, and had a scoundrel dog by the name of Fleabag, whom he taught to whine in the most ludicrous manner as Jarback tried to instruct Elizabeth in the art of singing psalms. In this way, matters went on for some time. On a fine autumn afternoon, Jarback sat on a rock near the frog pond, taking in the sounds of nature, when he was suddenly interrupted by the appearance of Joe Clarko, who brought an invitation to Jarback to attend a merrymaking to be held that evening at old John Egan's. The party Jarback believed would be formal and stiff. Elizabeth Egan would wear her formal gown, and Jarback would be stiff.
I find myself very attracted to you,